Okay, hi Shulamit.
Hi.
Perhaps we'll start if you could possibly introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm a psychologist dealing, especially interested in the relations between body and mind as they affect human behavior and feelings, and also psychopathologies of different kinds. I consider the human beings as one, the human being as one total unit in which the body and the mind interact all the time, shaping each other and um, forming the different kinds of manifestations and behaviors. Now, concerning the skin, which is our theme, right, for this occasion. So the skin is a particularly interesting um, phenomenon for a psychologist, a research psychologist. Well, maybe I should add that I'm both an academic psychologist dealing with research and teaching, and a psychotherapist, and I've been treating patients since many years. Okay, and always combining both. So now, getting back to the skin, which is a particularly interesting part of the human body and the human soul. It is interesting because it has double functions all through. Well, first of all, evidently, the skin is the external cover, which means that it's supposed to cover different things that that are necessary to be covered in order to protect them, and also because maybe we don't want to reveal all of them, and not to everyone. So it's a protective cover. On the other hand, it's a cover that actually manifests a lot of the things we do want to expose, and that others judge us by observing it. Now, we are very busy with the skin because we wash it and we watch ourselves. When we look in the mirror, what we see actually is the skin. We don't see ourselves. We see ourselves under the external cover of the skin. So we see the skin and we treat it appropriately. We take care of its aesthetic functions as far as we think, and mostly we are very wrong. We think that doing A and B to the skin would improve the aesthetic quality of the skin, and the skin doesn't always cooperate, and the skin has its own way of treating itself and exposing itself. So, for example, we do horrible things to the skin in order to show its nice face to others. We scratch it and we wipe it and we change its color and we do other horrible things to it. And I think the skin really takes a revenge on us because of all these horrible things we do, instead of simply living with it and accepting it as it is. Now, so on the one hand, the skin separates us from others, or we think it separates us from the others and from the external world. On the other hand, the skin has a very special quality of bringing us closer to the other things, because it has special qualities like touch, and which deliver a lot of information far beyond what the visual system and the auditory system can do. Much more. It gives us the internal quality and the psychological internal functioning of things as they function. We are not always aware of it, not consciously aware, but we function in line with the information that the skin delivers. So, actually, every symbol is a combination of contrasting qualities. That's why symbols exist, because we usually consider, we human beings, we have a straight kind of reasoning, so it's either A or B. But symbols exist here in this world, through us and with us, in order to make it clear that nothing is exactly one way. Not only it is both A and B, the contrasting one sometimes, or complementary one, but both of those contrasting aspects exist together. complementing each other, and they appear together. And there is nothing better than the skin to exemplify this, because the skin is both, it separates us from the external world, and it brings us in contact with the external world. We have nothing to compare with the skin. It's the best we have and the best that could be. Even if we try to invent something, we couldn't invent something better than the skin. So, okay.
So
what do you think of my position?
The obvious question is then what if we mark or paint over the skin or create tattoos, which are a set of more and other symbols? How does that affect the skin? How does that affect our perception of the symbols?
I don't quite understand. I mean, if we use, for example, means which change the visual aspects of the skin, what happens?
Right. That's right.
In that way. So we do something to the skin in order to, it is a manipulatory act, not for us, but more to manipulate the impression that we make on others. It's one of the problems of human beings that we think we can determine the way others see us. To a certain extent, yes, but mostly they see us as we are, and others, yes, they see us as we are. And in addition, they see our attempts, sometimes ridiculous attempts, to show, to expose ourselves in a certain form. That is, a person who has, let's say, an aging skin, yes, because the person is already above 60, 70, or 80 years of age. Instead of exposing that beautiful aging skin, that person tries to change that. I mean, it's a ridiculous attempt to change that skin into something that would be appropriate for a younger person. So what we actually tell the world outside is we are not happy with our age. We are not happy with the impression we probably make. We want you to think what I think you should think. Okay, manipulation. Sometimes it's more or less successful. Sometimes it causes admiration. Sometimes we come out ridiculous a little bit. So that's what about this part of it.
So that manipulation is actually what you say is actually that the skin may be also a tool of expression. This it's a sort of additional tool in addition to sound or speech or music or gestures. The very manipulation of the skin is another sort of language that we apply.
Absolutely, and a beautiful kind of language, and one that is, to a certain extent, to a large extent, sometimes independent of our desires and our acts. It has a style of its own, and it has goals of its own, and it expresses itself as an independent instrument. And we are not always aware of this. We think we can manipulate it, we can dominate it. I mean, it's in this way also, it's symbolic, because there are many things in the world that we as human beings have convinced ourselves that we can manipulate them, even the planet. And the planet smiles at us and says, well, it's not exactly as you think. We have our own style. The same is with the skin. It has its own style. It has its own manner of expression. Sometimes we do horrible things to it. I mean, I'm thinking about the tattoos, which is we cover it up in a way that cannot be taken off at will, right? And I think this is kind of cruel. I'm not sure how the skin reacts to it because I would feel it's by doing these kind of things, we dissociate ourselves from the skin. We should live with it, not against it, not despite of the skin. I feel it as a very important and human part of our image as human beings. We should accept it. It's part of the manner that we should accept ourselves, as a matter of fact. So I'm all for it. I mean, you can do some things to the skin, but be careful. I mean, be careful. Don't destroy the wonderful impression it makes, or it could make. Sometimes I find in the literature descriptions like radiant skin.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's beautiful. It's radiant skin. Actually, what it means for me is that some human quality from the inside radiates outside, not through any kind of color that you paint on it or something. It's simply your human soul radiates through it. Your love of human beings, your acceptance of others, your acceptance of yourself even.
Talking about images, I also know that you love art very much and you're very much experienced in also analyzing art and artists. When you look at artworks, do you apply certain attention or special attention to art, to the skin, or is it just part of your general impression?
No, I think even that when there is the image of, let's say, of shapes or something, the shape has a skin, and therefore there is a problem because when one has the chance to consider, to look at images and paintings in their original form in museums, we have this special quality. We can really grasp the skin of the color. Now, when it's photographed or when it's presented on the internet, it usually loses this kind of special quality. We get the color, we get the shape, that's right, but we don't get the skin, the special, how would I say, the surface qualities of this is something that, and when we do get it, so it's in an exaggerated form, well, it's not right. This is one thing that we miss in the presentation of art on the internet and by computers. There is something that museums or the actual confrontation with a work of art, this is even more so that gets lost when we photograph it. With sculptures, it's even more so. I mean, the material of the sculpture really has something to tell us. And we are losing the sense of looking at it because we look at the shape and the color. And also the color isn't complete when the skin quality of the color isn't there to communicate it as it really should be communicated and grasped.
You know that nowadays in biotechnology laboratories, people are trying to copy or recreate artificial skins or other covers that will be as close as possible to the real thing, including having some sort of robots where covers which may look like artificial or real skin. So in future, it may be possible that we are also be able to have on sculptures, so to speak, different covers which may imitate real skin. How would you perceive that? Would it still be an art form?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's wonderful. It will inspire or infuse more life into the, should I say, somehow dead-looking image sometimes. We need it. I mean, also, I think that many people have lost the special quality of noticing the skin and the special the surface quality, how delicate, how raw, how fine or how not fine it is. I mean, we are focusing on we are really slaves of the visual system and also of the auditory one, but the museums is a different kind. I mean, it's a kind of art that is being now maybe in a nascent stage of being created. So there's a lot to look forward to. The skin art.
So the next futuristic phase might be that people will take from those art examples and will be able to wear different skin that will be changed, like our daily garment that we change. So
Maybe. I hope we will learn to choose the right ones. I won't trust human beings automatically, but maybe we will learn how to do it, how to use the right kind of colors and shapes, and mainly, yes, the skin. The skin has a wonderful quality. It is modest and it's all there. It's really blatant outside.
okay, Shulamit, thank you very much for
Thank you.
these observations. Thank you.
Thank you very much for letting me express my love for the skin. Thank you.